Our April 2021 Moto Ikebana lesson, and our cultural feature for this month is the Furoshiki, and that means Japanese wrapping cloth. Now let me give you a little history about the Japanese wrapping cloth. It's more than 1,200 years old, and between 700 and 800 in the Nara period, it was used for keeping valuables of the emperor, so they would tie things up. Then from 800 to almost 1200 in the Heian period, it was used to carry clothes for the nobility, so another step down. Then from 1338 to 1573, there was a shogun named Ashikaga, and he built a great bathhouse with a steam bath, and he invited all his lords to come, and they used their family crest on a piece of fabric to keep their clothes separated while they were bathing. Then, finally, in the 1600s to the 1800s, public baths became widespread in Japan, and the furoshiki, these wrapping cloths, were used as a mat while you were getting undressed, and then again to put your clothes in to store them and to carry things home. So the name furo means to bathe, and the name shiki, word shiki, means to spread out. So hence the name furoshiki. The furoshiki became then finally a means for merchants to carry their goods. It was functional and essential to then the working class. Furoshikis can be made out of a variety of fabrics, from cotton to silk to synthetic, depending on the use of the furoshiki. Most commonly, they are more square-like, but can be slightly rectangular, and they come in many different sizes. Wrapping, or the tsutsumu, is easily seen in all of Japan, and wrapping a gift implies respect. Now, the furoshikis went out of style when plastic bags began to become popular, but now there's a whole resurgence of using things that can be recycled and used over and over again. So hence the furoshiki has made a recovery. Now this is a large, more tablecloths or card table size rectangle or square. And if you tie the little rabbit ears, the little corners, into a little knot on both ends, it makes a perfect handle for you to carry bigger, larger things. And then you just simply tuck in the fabrics on the side. If you have a small one, this is the smallest one. It's like 18 inches by 19 inches. And these make excellent tissue box covers. And all you do is lay it over and then bring up the ends and tie it in a knot on each end, and then you have your tissue box covering. And you can use any kind of fabric. You can even obviously you can make your own. These are all the small size furoshiki, which is 18 inches by 19 inches. Then you can wrap a gift in a furoshiki by just simply putting the box or the gift in the center, and then folding over the fabric one way, and then tying a knot in the other way and give it as a gift. And then that person can re-gift it as well.
And you put the box in at a diagonal.
No, I don't think I did. I think I put it on square. So then you can actually tie up a bottle. So this is a sparkling water, but maybe you like wine, and you could if you like to give a bottle of wine, you could tie up a furoshiki around a bottle, and it's quite easy. You tie it up two corners, opposing corners, really tight on the top of the bottle, and then you wrap the other two around once, and then bring it around and tie it in a knot. And it makes a beautiful gift. So furoshikis can be printed in any color, any design. This would represent winter with the snow in the waves, and then in spring we have the ume, the plum blossom. In summer, the waves in the summertime. In the autumn, we have the rabbit on the moon with the grasses in the autumn. So any season is great to use the Furoshiki. You can get online and you can look up videos, and you can get online and get free downloads about how to tie all these different shapes. Through our April Moto Ikebana design, this is a cascading form, and it's cascading because it cascades over the side of the container, and it kind of comes down. Because the Furoshiki was our inspiration for this month, this monastera leaf actually represents the Furoshiki spreading out, and the folding of the aspidistra leaves and taping them to make a little loop like this actually represents the little ties when you tie up the top of the Furoshiki to wrap up a gift. But we're going to use pussy willows. And unfortunately, I couldn't get really long ones, so we have to add on to the pussy willow to extend it and make it longer. So this represents our heaven line. And to do that, what we're going to do is I have 5 pussy willows here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to pick one that has a pretty big stem, the thickest stem, the strongest stem, and I'm actually going to use the heat of my hands, and I'm going to bend that straight pussy willow, and I'm going to, if you need to, you can actually breathe on it. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can actually heat up your hands with hot water. Someone in the class recommended a hair dryer. Well, yeah, you could do that. You could do that too. But really, it's the bending of the pussy willow with your palm of your hand and your thumbs, and that is what's going to give you all the bends. Don't be concerned if you lose a few of the little catkins along the way. That's just the nature of the pussy willow. They will come off. So to extend the length of your pussy willow, we are going to use wooden skewers. We're going to use the tip, the pointy tip. We're going to place it about 2 inches at the very end of the pussy willow, and we're going to take some brown tape. We're going to start and just tape a little bit, get it started, and wrap it around, and then you're going to tape it right on that point of that wooden skewer, and you're going to tape it all the way down, leaving exposed about 2 inches at the bottom of the skewer, because floral tape will just disintegrate if it's in the water. So you want to angle your floral tape. Floral tape is waxy, and you can see that it really stretches out quite a bit. So you want to stretch it. It has wax on it. And then as you get to the bottom, you can kind of go back up the stem like so. And that is going to give me a longer piece. Now, to make it a little bit longer even than that, I'm going to make just a slight sacrifice here with the pussy willow. I'm going to add on a shorter skewer that I have, and that's going to give me just the right length that I need. And I'm going to, now it's going to kind of whip around a little bit with my tape, and you can actually break a piece of tape so you don't have to flip it back and forth, but you're going to do the 45-degree angle, stretching it, pulling it down as you go, keeping everything covered until you get to the bottom of the stem, and then you're going to leave exposed about, again, another 2 inches of the wooden skewer. And when you get down that way, you can kind of rub it or use your fingernail so that it doesn't come unbound or unwrapped. And then I'm going to go back up the stem just a little bit, use your fingernail, just rub it, and that is going to create our heaven line. And this time, normally you put everything based on the center line of your kenzan, but today these loops go to the very outer edges of your round kenzan. So you're going to place them in, and you may need to take your cutters, and you may need to cut just a slight angle on the end of your skewer. Because it's wooden, it should penetrate the pins. If it doesn't want to penetrate the pins, you can actually slit it up the middle slightly, and that can help it to penetrate your pins so you get a good secure placement of your heaven line. So that, all that makes your heaven line. Once you get that in, then you're going to take another pussy willow, you're going to make that the man line, and you're going to add in that bottom skewer, the short skewer, and you're going to do the same procedure and tape it all the way down, leaving a couple inches exposed, and that's going to give you the smaller man line and loop that you have on your design. The next thing you're going to put in, so you have heaven, then you have man. When you put the man in, you want to kind of angle it and have it bowing forward so that it's not in the same plane and straight as the heaven line. You want to move it out and kind of have it be a shoulder to bowing. And then we're going to place in the monastera leaf. And the monastera leaf naturally has a curved kind of a stem. And you're going to angle that so that it doesn't touch the edge of the container, but it cascades over the edge of the container. And that represents the earth, or our spreading out of the earth with our furoshiki. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to floral tape with green tape our aspidistra leaves, and we're going to place them so that they're not, you don't want them to be straight up like bunny ears. You want them to be kind of be off to the side, and they represent our little ties of our furoshiki. Then the next thing we're going to add in are our Asiatic lilies, and we're going to put the lily in low and deep into the design, but we don't want anything to really be any higher than half of heaven. Now I realize you'll have some buds, but when the buds open, they'll be flat, they'll flatten out a little bit. So you're going to put one in the front, kind of nestled like a nest, right into the middle of the monastera leaf and framed in by these two ties. Then you'll put one in the back to give you an angle. And then finally you're going to put in your gypsophilia or baby's breath, and that can be, don't fill it in all over. What you want to do is have it be another area or another loop or another line that crosses through these lines or complements the monastera leaf. So this will, in most cases, will be in the back or in the side, but you decide depending on your container. Finally, you'll have 3 extra pussy willows, and you get to bend them again, and you get to place them wherever it fits your particular container. I have an ikonobo bowl here that has a shelf that sits up inside of the container with my kenzan, but maybe you have a pedestal bowl, and maybe if it's too deep, you can put little rocks inside. I would use small little stones so that you can position your kenzan in a stable way into your container. And anything with a pedestal or a base or a footed container will work perfectly for this design. So enjoy the April cascading Moto Ikebana. Yeah, any questions? And you can put those lines anywhere you want. They can go up, they can come down, they can go to the side, they can go to the back. Everybody had them in different placements, so that'll really help.